So here we are, Black Ops 6. How did it come to this? Not entirely sure, but it's too late to go back now. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and I get a lot of hate for hating on Call of Duty. I even tried the beta and just still got hate for calling it trash because I wasn't sucked in like everyone else. But now that the full release is out, I feel like I need to give it another chance, give it a fair shake. So let me walk you through my journey that is Black Ops 6. For starters, I'm not paying for this game. I already have the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for PC, so I just downloaded it and played it from there. Once it was downloaded, I tried to launch the game and it just straight up told me I didn't own the game and I needed to pay $60 for it. So strike one. After some tinkering and restarting my PC and closing the Xbox app and reopening it, I finally got it to work. Not sure what did it or why it wasn't working in the first place, but it works now and I wasn't even going to think twice about it. So I load in, and the first thing I do in any game is get my graphics settings right. Sadly, this game isn't very well optimized because even after lowering every setting to low or off or ultra low, I'm barely scraping the 240 FPS in the benchmark. And if I have OBS running, that number drops to about 200. So after getting all my settings dialed in, one of my main goals was to test this so-called pay-to-win audio. But this is when I found out that at the time of making this video, it's been removed from the game. And after some digging, it seems like it was only removed because the company that handles it, Embody, was having some kind of issues with it being down or something, probably due to everybody paying for it. So hopefully I can make a separate video on that in the future whenever they get it back up. So instead of messing with that, I jumped into the campaign because I heard pretty good things about it. And in the first mission, I took 2 steps outside of the mission area and boom, black screen. Like, not like it failed the mission, it just kind of like reset me back a few seconds, but like, damn. Let me explore a bit. Then in the middle of the campaign, there are like dialogues, but it's not like an actual cutscene, and there was no voice. So I thought it was a bug, but apparently I'm just an idiot, and somehow my dialogue volume got turned all the way down to 0. How that happened? No clue. So I fixed that and moved on. I didn't end up playing the campaign for too long because it's just kind of boring, and I'm usually all for a great campaign. But it was just way too much cutscene and not enough action to start things off. Really reminded me of Kingdom Hearts. If I wanted to watch a movie, I would do that, but I want to play a game with a progressive campaign without all the cutscenes to start it off. I understand you have to set up the story, but let me get a mission in or something. After I left the campaign, I went and played zombies with a few friends, and here's what I'll say. It can be fun in small doses. The friends that I played with take a lot of things way too seriously and immediately looked up a guide on how to complete the Easter egg. And to me, that's just not fun. Like, at least try to figure it out on your own. And if you can't, then look up a video. That's what makes it fun. But that aside, it gets very monotonous and boring, very similar to like a Bloons Tower Defense style game. You're just killing zombies in waves and then doing it again and then doing it again. It's just not something I can play for more than an hour without getting bored. Not to mention, there's already glitches and stuff to where you can just load up one of the maps and hide behind a boat and just be invincible to all the zombies because they can't get you. And this is how a lot of people are going to level up their weapons in zombies to get the skins. So immediately it just takes the fun out of it. And lastly, when I got to the multiplayer, it was just, my God, do I have some takes on the multiplayer. Let me start by saying that I don't ever want to hear COD fanboys complain about the lack of maps that XDefiant had, because Black Ops launched with basically the same number of multiplayer maps that XDefiant did. One of the biggest issues I have with multiplayer in my short time playing is that not only is there a lack of maps, but most of them are actually the worst maps I've ever played on in any FPS shooter. A lot of them are way too small, and there's nothing wrong with a small map. Overall, some of the maps are about the size of Arena in XDefiant, but they're just way too compact. There's too much stuff blocking lines of sight and everything. It's terrible. And when you play domination on some of these maps, most of the time Zone A is closer to Zone C than it is to Zone B. How does that even make sense? Not to mention the time to kill is just completely way too fast. It's insane. You basically have 0 time to react. So unless the person shooting you is playing the game on like DK bongo drums or something and can't aim to save their life, Once you get shot at, it's over, and 9 out of 10 gunfights are going to be won by the person who gets the first shot off. And because of this, and the fact that the maps are way too small, I can't really ever see a casual player going on a streak in this game. So if I had to rate everything individually, I'd give the campaign a 5 out of 10, only because I didn't play it all the way through. So I'm still neutral on that. If I gave it more time, possibly could go up once I actually get to play more missions consecutively instead of watching cutscenes. Unless it's like that throughout the entire campaign, in which case I'll never finish it. Multiplayer, I'd give a 4 out of 10 just because of all the stuff I said before. And zombies, probably a 7 out of 10 because that's really the only thing that I could see myself going back to. And honestly, I would rate it higher, but like I said, it's just so boring after like round 20. The problem I have with most Call of Duty games is that they don't fit the normal model of a game in the modern era. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, it's the same exact thing every single year. You grind for camos, and sure, there'll be people who unlock everything in a week, but the casual player, by the time most of them unlock every camo and weapon and all of that stuff, the game is dead and everyone's left it in preparation for the next COD game. This is the exact same reason I stopped playing games like Madden and 2K when it comes to like their ultimate team modes, because it's a cash grab. It lasts for about 6 months out of the year, slowly dies down, then it's abandoned 9 months into the game's lifespan by a majority of players, and then they're all just waiting for the next one. Nothing gets transferred over, you don't keep anything, and you just start all over next year. That kind of model for a video game will never be fun to me. I want something that lasts, one that you have continuous progress and stats and skins on. Games like Apex, Rainbow Six Siege, even Sea of Thieves, a game where you just constantly grind for things when new content comes out every so often. It just keeps things fresh. Kind of sounds like, I don't know, XDefiant. And don't even get me started on the skill-based matchmaking. You win, you lose. You win, and then you lose. Gaming is taking steps backwards. Halo had this all perfect many years ago. You have no skill-based matchmaking in casual playlists, and you have skill-based matchmaking in the ranked playlists, which is exactly what XDefiant has. And the only thing I'd add is a playlist in between these two that has skill-based matchmaking, the same skill-based matchmaking, stripped down, just basic skill-based matchmaking that a ranked playlist would have, but it just doesn't affect your rank, kind of like a scrimmage of sorts. I think if they would remove skill-based matchmaking from the casual playlists in COD, and then just make it 2 separate games, have Black Ops and then have Modern Warfare, and then every year, instead of coming out with a whole new game, just put out like a DLC or something and add things to the campaign and zombies, but just keep updating the multiplayer every so often with patches and added content like they already do throughout the current year lifespan of these games. And the only reason they probably won't do this is because they would lose money on it. Instead of being able to charge $60 or more for a new game every year, they'd only be able to charge half of that or even less for the new DLC to add missions to things like zombies or campaign mode. And this is exactly why I've maintained that having a game like XDefiant to compete against it is good for gamers. Over the last week, I've run into so many players just bashing one side or the other. People even continue to accuse me of hating Call of Duty so much that I can't look at it and be unbiased. Have you seen the rest of my videos about XDefiant? I promise you, I am the most unbiased person when it comes to reviewing these kinds of games that you'll probably ever find. Both games are good, but both games have their problems. And existing side by side against one another, competing, is a good thing for us. Stop driving a wedge between COD fans and XDefiant fans and making people choose. And ultimately, stop bashing the other game if you don't like it. It's fine if you don't like it. Just move on. But like I said, having both of these games coexist forces both companies to actually keep the players in mind and not their wallets. So that's my honest opinion on Black Ops 6. I can easily see myself playing it occasionally with friends, mostly in zombies, but nothing I can take really seriously or grind on. But what are your thoughts? I know most of you watch my videos are mainly XDefiant fans, and this isn't a video to bash Black Ops or hype up XDefiant. I'm just curious as to what everyone thinks and what your unbiased opinion is if you can provide that. Have you even tried the new Black Ops? Let me know down in the comments and I'll catch you in the next upload.